So what I'm talking about is Audible, and you probably have heard of it. It's the audiobook and podcast platform that is owned by Amazon. And this really is kind of like an extension of Amazon KDP. So if you've heard of Amazon KDP, this is something that you can kind of just tack on almost as an extra business to that, because you're already doing Amazon KDP anyway, so you may as well also do Audible. If you haven't heard of either, essentially what you're doing with Audible is you are selling audiobooks and you're earning royalties from them, but you don't have to write these books and you also don't have to narrate these books. Now, we've always loved Amazon KDP because of how low the competition is as a side hustle and as an online business model, but Audible even trumps Amazon KDP, and I'll show you what I mean. Just as an example to show you just how undersaturated Audible actually is, I'm going to pop up on the screen here the search results for the keyword of personal finance for women for both Amazon KDP on top, and then I'll put Audible on the bottom, but you can see how different it is. There's literally 50,000 results on Amazon KDP, and there's only 110 on Audible. Now, the cool thing about this is that audiobook demand is honestly growing so much. So at the moment, the current market is like 1.7 billion, but it's estimated by like 2030, I think, to be over 35 billion. So the demand is just seriously going to be huge.
Okay, well, I think it's interesting to say that it's undersaturated or unsaturated because I'm pretty sure there's over 1 million books on Audible. It might be 2 million. There's a lot. So maybe not as many as there are ebooks on Amazon's Kindle or KDP publishing platform, just because it's a little harder to make an audiobook. You have to actually record the audio, whereas with the Kindle books, it's just a PDF. So you can spit those out all over the place now. You could probably have ChatGPT write you 15 books a day if you wanted to and flood the market with those. The problem is not producing volume. The problem, as always, is finding customers to buy them, right? So her example, there's 110 books for personal finance for women on Audible's platform. Great. I would bet that Susie Orman, who does personal finance and has a focus towards women, is probably sucking up 50% or more of the sales in that category with her 1 or 2 or whatever many books she has in that category, right? And then the next biggest seller after Susie Orman probably gets 10% of the sales. And then the next 5 people get another 10% and so on. So you create your Audible book on personal finance for women and you throw it up on Audible, and of however many people are purchasing those every month, let's say it's 10,000, you may pick up 1 or 2 sales. Now, even less until you have some reviews and some reason for people, you got some specialty niche in that within that category. Maybe it's personal finance advice for pregnant women or older women or teen girls or whatever. You've got some differentiation, but again, you're looking at 5 or 10 sales a month, maybe, if you stand out and have decent reviews. It's not easy to sell a lot of those books when you're up against professional competition, recognized names, people who are already established in that. If it's a very, very niche category, then there's not a lot of buyers looking at it. If it's a big category like weight loss or how to make money, then there's thousands of competitors. So in either case, you've got to stand out and be the top of the category to make any kind of real money. And that's, again, really hard. You've got to establish a reputation. You've got to spend a lot of time marketing and getting your name out there and have a message that's different and have a customer base that finds your message more appealing than some of the others, at least enough to buy your book and listen to it. So unsaturated, I think, is an overstatement and misses the point of, even if there's only 10 books in the category, if the first 3 books take 80% or 90% of the sales, you're going to have a hard time making a lot of money with something that's a Me Too or undifferentiated product. And even if your product is totally different and stands out and has great advice, just getting people to notice that, recognize it, and choose your book over or in addition to the competition is really hard. So by all means, this is a low-cost business to get into and try out if you're interested. You got something to say, give it a shot. Try it on Audible as well as a regular published book on Kindle. But just keep your expectations sort of in line with reality, because I think it's very tough to make even $500 a month, never mind $5,000 a month, doing this, even if you put out 100 books, which is a lot of work unless they're garbage books, and garbage books aren't going to get bought. So there's not really any shortcuts on this one.